Welcome back, noble heroes. The characters have left Mirban's tower and are headed back to the Outrunner, and have just received some letters from around the world. We return back to our characters.
I think this is the one that you wanted to talk about the most.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, June, once we got the letters, she would just open them, look, do this number, and then she handed them back to Roland.
All right. Could you give us a short explanation of what the letters are about?
Well,
Yes.
the Bridgewalk letter is very pointed at you
Yes,
for not mentioning that I am with
yes,
you.
well, I will be reading that one aloud.
very
that one will be
very
long.
snarky.
Yes, it's clear. She goes, the first one is actually from Pendulum. It is from the second king of Pendulum, King Tarvrel. And he has invited us to come and tell him of the events in person.
As if we have the time to just do that.
Might be worthwhile. Not this exact moment, but honestly, every single one of these letters are requests to go there.
So, I will state that Pendulum is famous for being isolationist. The idea that they would request outsiders to come in to speak is pretty revolutionary.
She goes, it's been a very long time since anyone was specifically invited in.
I can imagine.
Of course, I forgot the other king's name. Give me a second.
King Karpath.
Yes, King Karpath is not aware of this particular invitation, although Tarvrel has promised our passage. I think it might be worthwhile eventually getting there.
Sneaking around his back, Hero says. They do that?
They can occasionally work at cross purposes, yes. Unfortunately, Pendulum is notorious for its ethnocentric views. We've been working on them for ages to try to get them to open their doors. I think not accepting this would be a mistake at some point. The next one was from the Kings of Garen. They have invited us to use their vaults in the Garen banks to store the pieces of Yandrasi's crown, and thus, in case we can't get them to him. Probably be
Well, there's only so much space in the Outrunner.
exactly. There are methods of transport that will not require your ship, but we do need to get to one of the major cities in order to do so.
Okay.
But again, you would use your ship to transport them there at least. They also wish us to return to the King's Tournament. It's one of the largest collections of scholars and heroes and wizards in the world that go there to seek fame and fortune. And it might be worthwhile to see what sort of allies we can gain there. And I do believe that Harper's crew
Said the same thing.
additionally did. Although, wow, you could definitely tell that Faylene had a very strong hand in filtering that message.
They really, really hate not being involved in this right now. It's very clear.
What do they say?
They're just absolutely dying to know what's going on. They're used to being the ones who know everything that's going on in situations like this.
And the last one, which is actually the most pressing of them all. I'll go ahead and read it to you if you don't mind. Blah, blah, blah. Writing to you as the personal advisor and aide to Queen Estrid the White. As before, Calandus Shartman. The Queen has heard of your request directly from the godmothers, and though this chills us to the bone, we know the truth in your words. Through a rumor, we believe you were spotted near the We Remember monument, releasing one Potjack from your custody. He has come south and entered our city of Bridgewalk, but currently has done no harm. Among your number, he recounts seeing Roland Harkand and his dragon steed Shadow. We were not aware that such famous hero was traveling with you, and it would have lended more credit to your initial letter had we been made aware. She rolls her eyes at this. As it is, this may prove to be a most fortuitous event, as we find our city under attack by the sorcerer Pitt, who has mind-controlled a collection of our guards and plagued the city with his dark magics. Bridgewalk would request the aid of your group in ridding ourselves of this villain, and can think of no better qualified hero than Roland, who is the only one known to have successfully fended off this menace. Queen Estrid would consider this a national favor on behalf of Garen, and a personal one on behalf of this group of questers. Though the city is on lockdown, your arrival may herald needed optimism to break this spell of bad news, and we hope you can arrive soon. If not, then we shall continue the struggle against this threat until we overcome it. Advisor of the Winter Child, Calindus Sharpman.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Could that be even any more obvious?
Obvious?
This is the most guilt-trippy letter I've ever heard. It's so political. I hate that shit.
Oh. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yes, June is just, that's why she rolled her eyes.
Do you feel guilty?
No, but just a favor as a favor from Garen because I'm there. It's like, it should be the right thing to do. But I hate this shit. So, go.
The advantages of going: 1,
We can-
stopping Pitt is the obvious. 2, being able to access Bridgewalk. 3, if we are able to access Bridgewalk and bring our ship in, we can transport the crown piece directly to Garen, if, of course, we wish to store it there. 4, having a personal favor owed to us by the Queen would be helpful.
Do you think you can overcome Pitt again?
I mean, overcoming him was just essentially he had succeeded and was just not survived.
Is that how it truly went?
That's how it always feels.
We don't know a great deal about the sorcerer Pitt.
Yes, unfortunately, he's always proved most elusive to our information gatherers.
Honestly, he hasn't been seen much in the last decade or so.
I haven't seen him since the elections, right?
There have been passing sightings, but nothing of import.
Here he's got a nightmare.
A nightmare?
A horse infected with darkness. It rides through the shadow realm like shadow does. Its hooves ablaze with white fire. It's mostly how we expect he gets into heavily locked down areas, in and out. Shadow realm is hard to guard.
Very few places have true defenses against the Shadow Realm. Neat trick.
It is.
Well, and also very few people can travel in the Shadow Realm. Usually, if you go there, you become corrupted very quickly.
I suppose he's already too far gone. Either way, from eyewitness accounts and first-hand knowledge, we do know that his mind control magic is more substantial
Than it used to be?
No, simply always was.
Okay.
He is able to control multiple people's wills at the same time. The largest we've ever counted was 25 at one point.
Is it clear they're being controlled? So we know who they are. They can't just slide their way in?
Wrong sort of. Sorry. I didn't realize you were saying, like, the specific people are being controlled. I don't know. I don't
Oh
think
no,
so.
you can't tell who's being controlled. You can't tell who's being controlled, but it's clear that they were controlled. They would never do the things that they do.
The situation is clear that he is controlling them, but we don't know exactly who is being controlled.
So he could control someone close to the Queen. We'd have no idea until we show up.
He's really good at keeping people doing the thing that they would normally do until they're not anymore.
He sounds clever.
I actually have some additional information that we recently came upon.
Do tell.
We believe that his personality infests those that he uses as pawns. that he very literally is acting as them. Much as a puppet master might wield puppets.
So he leaves like a residue behind?
We believe he is effectively inside them. Acting as them. Yes,
Possession.
more like a ghost than like the wizard's ability to dominate a person.
And are they left at all corrupted?
They are not after he removes himself from them, however. Pitt's fate makes it so he cannot lie. Which means he cannot lie through someone else.
But he has become very good at twisting the truth in ways he needs to.
Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to give everybody a baseline test every day just when they wake up.
And what are the negatives if we don't go? Or the positives?
Well,
I mean, who knows why? He could want us to come to Bridgewalk.
He could.
I don't know why.
the likelihood of him knowing we came to Bridgewalk outside of prophecies, or scrying us, I suppose, is not terribly great. In my opinion, of course. However, if we were to leave Pitt there, who knows what his actual plans are and what he's doing. And we don't know how long it would take for them to expel him, if they even could.
In other words, there's really no choice at all.
Well, there's the choice of turning our backs.
Like I said, there's really no choice at all.
June smiles. She's actually quite proud of this group.
What do you think the chances are that he's the one who wrote that letter?
It's the same penmanship from the last time you received a letter.
If it is, then he wrote the other one as well.
And that was a week or so ago.
Do you think that maybe he
Was
wants...
that prior to the infestation that we know of?
Certainly there would almost be no way for Pitt to know about it since Esther didn't know about it.
She tells you that.
Unless he has, unless he's getting information that only the kings of Giran know, and, a king in Dremel.
When he controls somebody, does he gain access to the things that they know?
That was her next question.
Well, if he doesn't, he could just ask.
Yeah, that's true.
Assuming he knows to ask.
I have to wonder whether or not we're being pulled into his plans.
It's always a possibility. Not terribly high, but it's always a possibility.
I suppose there's no point in getting hung up on such questions.
Yeah, but this is the thoughts of a bad guy.
Does Roland say that?
Yeah, and then he gets up and starts to walk away.
June actually will kind of... Yuki just full on laughs. Doesn't try to hide it.
You are going to see a strange look from Zarafan between Roland, and then they kind of stop, light blue eyes staring at Isaac.
Alright. So, if you have the insight of a criminal, what do you think Pitt's up to? What do you think he wants?
I don't know Pitt as well as some of the other people here. But
You
if
can
he
roll a
is
history
truly...
check.
What was that?
You can roll a history check.
Okay, I'll roll a history check.
She says, no.
You
one
have
really knows Pitt.
advantage because you're a bad guy.
Oh dear.
14.
Is it a flat 14?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Pitt's prior famous action was the murder of a king. Through Roland, specifically.
Did we ever find out why he did that?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Essentially to throw Garen into...
Yes, but there's no
Chaos.
real reason other than just that.
But then when they were having the elections for the kings, he posed as a person and
so he wanted
almost...
to become the king?
I think he just wanted to stir
Shit.
shit up, yeah.
So you don't know Pitt's fate word for word. But you do know that he uses plague magic, effectively sickness, and mind control. Mostly he uses them for what seems to be purposes of causing
Chaos.
just rampant chaos. Which, as you are well aware of, chaos presents opportunity. It's what his opportunity is for, you don't know. Pitt never walked the same line as you. You pursued things. You sought money and power. But Pitt started maybe too big for his own shoes. One man can't carry out the kind of operations that Pitt does and get away with it unless they go underground for a long period of time. Which he did do, but the question is why come back up? The timing seems strange.
Okay. That's what I tell you guys.
Well, you think Pitt might seek to kill the Winter Child?
Even if he did, unless he knows about fate breaking, and fate does not operate in such a way that it normally does right after one dies, there's already a Winter Child waiting in the wings.
I don't know why he'd want to do this then.
Unless, of course, he killed that other one and tried to take on its fate.
You don't think he actually knows anything about fate breaking, do you?
I don't know.
That's a disturbing thought.
He is a genius. So, from what we can tell, at least.
Is Pitt a member of Satan's Hand, or does he work on his own?
He's not a member of Satan's.
Okay.
He's a solo entity of chaos.
It doesn't mean he doesn't get information from them. Well, if we have no choice, we might as well go ahead and get started planning.
You continue your planning for the next few hours on your way back to the ship. Does anyone want to propose anything?
Not yet. I'm still thinking about it, processing, formulating plans.
Got it.
Isaac states that he is open to whatever the party suggests.
So, first, just to put this out there, everybody has agreed we should go
Bridgewalk.
to Bridgewalk.
Okay.
There's no choice. We can't
Kira?
leave it as is.
He also gets a vote, so she does ask him as well.
Also, Roland would try to talk to Hero at some point if he can get a talk just one-on-one with him.
You could fall behind the group.
Mm-hmm. Just if
He
the opportunity
nods.
arised, he would try to talk to him.
Hero nods. He is in agreement to go to Bridgewalk.
Good. Okay.
Right. The characters head back to the boat. Roland, you get your moment with Hero. You both are trailing along behind the others.
Hey, sorry about shooing you away when I was talking to Zarathan.
It's alright. He helped you become a paladin, right?
Yeah, it was kind of his idea.
You all are close?
Not really, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk to him just one-on-one.
Gotcha.
You know things about me that he didn't. And it felt easier to tell him if you weren't there.
You felt like you needed to tell him about your fate?
Some of the weird stuff that's going on with it, yeah. But,
You must trust him a lot.
well, yeah. But,
I guess because he's an angel, right?
yeah, but there's a thing with authority and whatnot where it's not necessarily great when somebody who is serving under you tells you something that you should hear before one of their equals.
What?
And you knew something that he didn't know before him. So for me to kind of casually talk about something like that, I just didn't want him to think that I'm out there, like, really giving anybody
Oh, you're saying
information
that
about
if
me.
you didn't act like it should be secret, that he might not keep it secret?
I just didn't want him to know that he doesn't know you. And he
That's
doesn't
true.
know. He doesn't know what this group is right now.
Hey, so what did you think about? Like, do you think he's just a friend? A brother?
Man, I'm not even going to pretend to think anything.
Dang it, Roland. All right,
They are,
you're the least gossipy person I've ever met.
Over here.
That's the point. That was the point. I didn't want Zarfin to think I'm a gossipy bitch. So I shoot Hero away to
He goes,
Goofy is a gossipy bitch.
to
She'll
dish
happily.
some personal shit.
I'm not used to all these secrets, he says.
Me either, man. I don't like it either. So I just wanted you to know it wasn't that I didn't want you to be around. Is that for his sake, I wanted him to know that I was confiding something rather than just exactly what you said. I don't like everybody knowing these details about me.
Are you okay with us going to Bridgewalk? I know
I mean,
what he did to you. How did he do that? I thought you were immune to mind control.
that part of my fate rhymes, so it only kicked in puberty. He essentially, I guess, knew that he could take advantage of me in that way at that age. Yeah, right? Most traumatic experience in my life.
Do you want to get him?
I mean, at that time, yeah.
What about now?
I mean, he's gotta be stopped.
Yeah, but
Whether it's me or somebody else, or he's just in the Ilium.
do you think the Ilium is still working? You said that Ace used to be in the Ilium too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's real anymore, man. There's so little that we know about what's going on right now. I just know that going to Bridgewalk is a thing we can do. So we should. We'll be alright. Just stay close to me, but not too close.
Okay. So this is new. Zarfin says to Jennifer, you two are maybe about 10 feet from the nearest, and the sound of your footsteps is giving some muffling to any speech you have.
What do you mean?
Yet a little familiar.
None of that.
I'm surprised to see you with Roland.
Well, he was part of the prophecy.
Well, I didn't know about the prophecy.
Well, if you'd read the letters, you would have.
Well, I know about it now.
I tried to call you. Definitely did.
I wanted to speak to you about that. I think I figured out the source of the problem with the communication mirrors. When I arrived on Mythia, one of the reasons I came down was sent by heaven. There is a signal echoing from Bridgewalk. It's sort of magical background noise. I wanted your help with it. I think it's the thing that's disrupting the communication mirrors.
I feared that had something to do with the main mirror shattering.
I don't know. I think it's been echoing from Bridgewalk the whole time.
Do you think it has something to do with Pitt?
Possibly.
Or possibly what brought him there?
Maybe. That's probably more likely. Either way, we could sense it in heaven. It was disrupting some of our tools.
Mm-hmm.
It was making the wave from the telescope a little fuzzy. Either way.
But they loved that.
No, they didn't.
I'm glad it brought you down now. I was getting worried.
I was coming down anyway. I got kept. Mazrian, he says.
Yeah, of course.
He says, and, how is this going?
It's going. Unfortunately, this...
Is it working like a normal prophecy?
Nothing's quite normal about this whole thing, but it is trending towards that direction.
That's good. They found you all once.
Yes. We were all within.
Did you have the prophecy?
I did. It's the first one well, there's only been a few.
No rhyme.
Not a bit. It was like it was screaming.
Well, that's probably ominous.
Yes. Very much how Meribin is fated. It was like panic.
Doesn't bode well.
No, it doesn't. But it is clear that we are meant to remain together, so I don't really have a choice this time.
Do you think that Satan's hand is responsible for their arrival time?
No, I don't.
You're sure?
No, I think it was opportunistic of them.
Free and Ace suggests he had foreknowledge.
It's possible. But it's Danworth.
Damn. You think even he knows something about this, even if he's not responsible? That's what you mean to say.
Perhaps he has some sort of foreknowledge or foresight. He is deeply connected to the darkness, and
So the darkness might be responsible.
possibly. But
I think that's less likely than Satan's hand, to be honest. The darkness knows coordinated.
other than him, no, didn't. Or their generals.
I believe he'd be more likely to use Satan's hand than his lesser minions. Besides, they're locked away.
I don't think it was them. I don't know what it is yet.
Friend,
Have you
I've heard
of
that
anything?
somewhere. But I don't remember when.
I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't think I've heard it. I wonder if... Have you seen him lately?
Who?
Have you had tea lately?
No, I've been busy. How about you?
I stopped going once this was here, but he hasn't shown up for 3 months or so.
Wouldn't he show back up at the wheelhouse? Or somewhere else?
No, he can't get in there.
Wouldn't he show up at the house?
It's possible. I'll have to go back and check, but...
Are we going to the house?
Are you being hopeful?
I was asking if we were going to have company. It's quite dusty.
I guess we can, yes.
That didn't seem very enthused.
Well, I can awaken the servants. I did build them into the spellwork.
I was wondering whether or not you wanted to reveal it. What have you revealed?
They know what I am.
Really?
Didn't really have a choice.
Didn't?
Technically I died, but they're not really aware of that either.
So soon?
She actually looks incredibly embarrassed right now.
How? Damn.
No, I was eaten by Umlof. Or what is his name again?
Uthgail.
She goes, Uthgail. I was foolish. It's been a long time since I've been in direct combat.
Uthgail's back?
I assume that was loud enough for the group to hear.
Yeah.
She goes, yes. I assume he's probably back again.
I thought he was, like, fated dead.
No, according to the book that I just read, he keeps coming back. He's like a lich.
Well, that's unpleasant.
Yes, he's incredibly unpleasant, especially from the inside.
You were eaten.
Yes, it was disgusting.
I think he would have had difficulty swallowing you.
You
were so tiny.
I wasn't tiny at the time.
Oh,
It was
why
this.
not?
She goes, because they didn't know I was that before.
You maintained your secrecy, even though you died.
It was, well, technically, actually, no, she told you guys before, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. She goes,
During
no,
our bonding drinking
no,
session.
we had to bond. She does say it like that. I had
The
to tell
whole
them.
crew.
I had to tell them. No, just the group, not the pirates.
Oh,
Specify a little bit here.
My apologies. No, just those present.
All right. Well,
So they are aware that I am a fairy. They do not know my personal circumstances. Simply that I am one of that race. Sort of.
he knows.
They know nothing of you, other than that you are my comrade and ally. The usual, of course.
Yuffie, what are you doing?
after he exclaimed like that, she'd be sneaking glances back there.
Their voices probably got quieter.
So, where's Hero at this point?
Coming back up through the line.
She's gonna drop back there.
Oh, God.
So, what do you think about those two?
I don't know. I think they're definitely old friends, at the very least.
Do you get any other senses from them? Emotions-wise?
Getting blocked, he says.
Blocked?
A lot of rhythm.
He says,
He's been getting blocked for a while, though.
he just shrugs. I don't know.
She looks really disappointed to not have her gossip buddy as excited about this as she is.
He ruined it for you. Good job. You get a fist bump.
She's gonna look back at them again. I think there's something there.
Well, if they are, both so secretive, we're probably never going to figure it out.
Oh, so you do want to know, she says.
He says, well, I don't want to pry.
Why not? Nothing wrong with it.
Did I just convince Hero to not be
Good job.
He goes,
You suck!
he goes, I don't know, maybe
Paladins.
I'm using my powers too much, he says.
Okay. Does it drain you? She asks.
Well, how do you feel about it when you, look into people and see what's inside? Do you do that all the time?
Not all the time, no.
Well, why not? You can. Isn't that stuff helpful?
It's helpful, but
Do you feel like you're prying?
maybe a little.
Okay, well, it's the same thing. He says a little disconcerted.
Fine. And then she walks on a little bit faster.
Hey, wait.
Oh, now you want to talk.
What do you think's going to happen to Wonks?
What do you mean?
I mean, Posix doesn't seem very friendly.
No, he doesn't.
What happens if he doesn't change back? Is he going to want to take him?
She'll lean down. Do you think we'd let him?
How will we stop him?
I mean, I'm sure there are ways.
Do we want to? That doesn't seem like he's delivering all our mail.
I assume June could find an arrangement?
Would you fight Kha'Zix for walks?
Cleavy's gotten very close to him.
Is that important to you?
What do you think?
I don't know. Clevy, he definitely has a lot of feelings, but honestly, they're all so strong that I usually don't look into them too much.
I can see that. It is important. I don't think he doesn't get a lot of new people in his life, and when he attaches, I'd hate to deprive him of someone he'd gotten attached to. Or let him think that we would let someone just take someone who's become a part of our crew.
He nods.
You notice that she hesitated before the crew portion.
He says, yeah. Am I part of the crew?
You're definitely part of the crew, hero.
You kind of see him look off into the distance, smiling a little bit.
You did throw a giant frog off my ship, so.
You all, fairly late at night, are going to arrive back at the Outrunner. You're going to hear, "Hail!" on the ship. He sort of waves at you guys, and a lantern sort of brightens up on the deck.
Oh, by the way, there was probably like a ball of light floating behind June the entire time once it got darker. For those of you who can't see in the dark.
Yay!
And Mama.
What does Zarafin do about that? I'm just curious.
Mama? He says, "Who are you?" He goes, "My name is Zarafin." Zarafin. "You're some my friend.
What do you say?
You're some my friend."
You are my friend? Okay. She goes, yes, Zarafin is your friend.
He goes, "It's my friend. Zarafin. My friend."
Zarafin, this is Walks No Roads.
Walks no roads.
He is was a messenger. I'll tell you more about it.
So, Walks is standing in the grass on the side of the road.
She would offer
trail.
him up.
You pick him up?
Uh-huh.
As soon as he goes over the road, he just comes...
Walks no road.
Oh, yes.
He's like
She
a ball of...
picks him up and walks off the road.
Okay. He becomes alive again, stands up in your hands. He goes, "Where'd you go?"
Sorry.
I know. I'm so glad I don't have to communicate with this creature on a regular basis.
Yes, you do. You're Uncle Roland.
Yeah, but I just get to wave him off.
She goes,
I can't wait till he calls you Dad.
oh God, yes. She says, we had to go and learn some things. How about you? Have you been good?
I exercise.
Good. Did you go on any hunts?
Yes.
What'd you get?
Hunt.
Have you remembered anything?
Remember? From before I was born?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Really? What have you remembered?
I tell you. You come shit.
Okay. She looks around and she goes, excuse me.
As Euphemia is swamped by her crew, and Zarafin is a bit standoffish at the moment. Roland, you and Shadow head on. And
June does gesture if Zarafin wants to come.
Did Zarfin give like a cover name and everything?
to
Yes,
us
good
along the
question.
walk?
Because I feel like that would sort of out.
Maybe we could just call him Rafe.
Right.
Right.
Because she's been saying Rafe the whole time, so.
Master, Brongor says. Oh, why don't we step over here? He says. And he's going to, like, take his arm and sort of, like, push you backwards away from the rest of the people off the road.
What has he gotten into while you've been gone?
He goes, Master, we need to talk.
Brongor, be direct with me.
I will be, Master. It is not good news. He says, I made use of the day or so that you've gone in order to chat up the crew. And while I was doing so, I spoke closely with Janya. And I learned something, Master. Something that is not good.
What might that be?
We had been speaking for the last 2 weeks or so about her time in Celox. As you know, Master, she lives on Seaview Road. Do you remember Seaview Road, Master?
Is that the neighborhood that I think it is?
It is.
Okay. I do. I'm assuming you remember that night as well.
I do, Master. I remember going into her exact home. She has told me her address, Master. I remember that was the house that Saul entered.
What a small world. I was hoping we left our past behind us.
Master, Saul is responsible for strangling Janya's mother to death.
I remember. What did ever become of Saul after that night?
He went into hiding after the gang broke up. He's in Selenox still. Didn't you receive a letter from him, Master? He said he was on his way to Garen to meet you.
Did you tell Johnny anything?
Of course. And my face was as still as a pond.
Do I believe him? I'm sure he believes himself, so there's no point in trying to incite that.
Even if I had a small tremor of my face, Master, she was quite emotional during the process of telling me this.
Understandable.
She confided in me, he says. I'm afraid that she would be quite vindictive, Master, if she learned the truth.
Where did Saul say he was meeting me in his letter?
He packed up everything he owned, sold his house, and headed to Garen.
Garen, okay. When we do get around to meeting him in Garen, make sure that we keep that quiet. I'd prefer this not come back up.
Are you well, Master?
I'm fine. But I do think that this could fracture the entire family we've built thus far, if it were to come out.
Who is that new man?
Oh. You won't be happy to hear, but he's another angel.
Oh, dear.
A friend of Juniper's.
How terrible.
Stomping all over everyone's plans without a care in the world, as angels often do, but...
God, I
They're
hope
as
he
bad
hears
as
you.
devils on it.
almost.
He says, what shall we do?
For the time being, we will lay low. I do not trust this one.
He says, indeed, Master.
But take these below deck. I found them during our travels, and I'll gesture to my two.
Oh, they were adorable, Master. Look at them.
How tall are these things?
They're slightly shorter than Brongor.
Okay.
All right. You head onto the ship with the others. And Euphemia, do you give the directions to set off from the shore of the lake?
She will. She'll certainly ask Dom and Bali about how the crew have been and any goings-on and such.
You will see that Bali is not wearing the bandana that you left her. And as soon as you get back on, she is going to place it carefully in your hand. She says, here you go.
Thank you.
I saw you coming. I took it off. She says.
She totally accepts that as truth. She puts it back on.
She says, so, Dom is going to give you the lowdown on what he found.
Oh.
Oh, yes, Captain. I decided to go and take a half day or so to check out the We Remember Monument. I hadn't been there for a good century or so. When I went up there, I spoke to several of the tourists, he says. And they spoke about Pit, that sorcerer in Bridgewalk.
Yes.
He says, apparently, only 2 or so days ago, he had 12 guards throw themselves off the bridges. We should avoid that place like the plague.
It's about that.
Buddy, you bring Bridgewalk up. Actually.
Molly looks at you curiously.
We might be heading there next.
What? Why? Molly says.
She leans forward. Our help, well, certain people's help on this ship has been requested.
He says, new guy? Tom asks.
New guy.
Oh, no, not Raph. Rafe.
Well,
Raph. That's what I always think of. I can't help it. No, we had a written request delivered to us. It was to Roland and Juniper. But I think it applied to all of us.
From who? Molly asks.
Queen Estrid. Queen Estrid.
Queen Estrid? The White?
Indeed.
The Winter Child?
Well, I'm sure she didn't write it quite herself.
Her
but-
scribe.
Wow. Quite impressive.
Hard to
Nonsense.
turn down something like that. Wouldn't it be nice to have the favor of someone like that?
What does she want?
What do you think she wants?
She's going to flick her eyes over towards Roland. And then kind of nods like, him?
And Yuffie's kind of...
Do you sneeze?
She gives a great sigh and says, damn it.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about some stuff, otherwise. You mind if we go in the cabin?
Let's go.
Which one's talking?
Molly?
Okay, sorry. For some reason, I keep putting Johnny in there.
Nope. Jonia is going to come up and she's going to very friendly like come up and like lay her hand on Roland's shoulder and like nod. How did it go?
he like tries to nod like, oh my god, and he just immediately starts laughing. He's like, you straight up would not believe it. If
Shit
I even
show?
explained it.
She says.
What?
A shit show?
Fully.
God,
She
please
goes,
tell her. Just do it.
how about you? She slaps you on the back.
Who, me? Wait, who is this, Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny is doing it. Isaac probably almost falls over. Isaac catches himself on his staff and goes, it was not a good time.
She's going to kind of lean in. Hey, still got that pomade?
It's somewhere.
Oh, God, she asked you right for him? Yes.
I have walked away.
You are no fun
I
at
have
all,
walked away.
Roland.
I have walked away.
Isaac goes, it's somewhere in my chambers. I'll find it.
She nods. And that one's important to me. That one's okay.
Understood.
Okay.
Did you throw it over the side?
Yes.
You're just digging that hole deeper and deeper.
She is very vengeful. Probably should have warned you about that beforehand.
Can I use the edict to like fake my way out of this eventually? Can I make the edict look
The
like a
edict is
magazine?
single sheet of paper.
Yeah, I know. Could I make it look like a magazine?
What, are you going to give the edict to her?
No, I'm just gonna say, oh yeah, I've still got it, and then like put it away really quick.
And then just...
Oh, you think she wants it back?
I know she wants it back, but this is to buy me time.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe you can find a
find a
replacement
good
in Bridgewalk.
replacement.
Yeah.
it's
Oh
possible.
god, I just really want you to have to go to a porn store.
I like how the first time you
I
use your
find out
magical
about it.
super paper is to
I know.
fake out that you have a porn bag.
I know.
We are going to
That's
Bridgewalk. It's a major city, right? I'm sure
incredible.
it's got
True.
porn shops.
Yeah, but that type usually? Well,
Yeah,
then
I
again,
will say that
Bridgewalk
particular
is the one
magazine
place
was
that
like
would
a
have it.
yearly edition.
Oh.
It was like a supersized year
I
edition.
know a way to fix it, but you'd have to really, really be nice and convincing.
Wow.
And you'd have to tell me about it.
I would have to tell Jane about it.
Polly is going to step in with you. I was hoping we could check on, She nods towards the chest in your room.
We can. Why?
Well, particularly because I remember that there was one particular piece among the treasure that I wanted to get out.
All right.
She says, you said 5% of it was mine, right?
Of course. I wouldn't resent that. When we came in here, I thought it was something more than...
It is. Triss is still running herself ragged, and I can't figure out why. She says she's damn near put every board in perfection on the whole ship.
My fault. It's totally my fault.
Honestly, I don't know what to do about her, Molly. I've tried to talk to her. I've given her a good rousing captain speech, and it just fell flat.
Well, what about some bunch of wizards on the ship? Can we do something wizardly?
To Triss?
Not like to charm her, but to figure out what's wrong.
Maybe. I'll give it some thought. You know I don't particularly enjoy prying with my crew.
You did ask Hero's aid.
Yes.
Do you say that?
She would share that with Bolly, yeah. I did speak with Hero about this.
He's a pretty non-intrusive option.
It's certainly less intrusive than if I did anything.
That's very true.
Shall we take a look down there?
Yeah. I wanted to see if any of her arrows were hurt.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's the arrow that makes the lightning, right? She is speaking, of course, about Pollyanna's magical lightning-shooting bow. You imagine that she, at some point during your wait, has thought about the lightning arrows and whether or not they might be on here.
Do you think to maybe wield them?
I'm thinking maybe somebody could.
I'm thinking you definitely could.
Do you head in?
They do.
All right. As you go over and reach your hand into the chest without a lock, you pull on a lever inside the top of the chest lid. And as you do, it's going to open up entirely, and the bottom flattens out and reveals a stairwell.
Ooh.
They act like it's just completely usual and walk down.
Both halflings walk down a stairwell that would lead into the bottom of the lake if it led anywhere at all. Instead, it leads into a gigantic treasure trove. As you walk inside, you see the treasure of the Pirate Lord Pollyanna placed in overflowing chests along the walls, as well as your own substantial personal wealth. laid in great piles like a dragon might sit on, of gold and platinum and other precious metals and gemstones. And as you head over towards the treasure, that may be a while, Polly says, if, you know.
Well, I always enjoy coming down here.
She's going to lay out on one of the piles.
Going Scrooge McDuck style.
Remember when we first did this? She says, laying down on one of the piles. That first little gold hill.
It seems long ago, doesn't it?
Not that long, she says.
Well, a lot's happened.
Well, I think more's happened for you.
She plops down on the gold next to her. I don't know.
But worrying about a crew is quite the mind burden.
Honestly, Bolly, she says, I think you bear the burden better than I do.
I'm
Sometimes.
pretty sure you're completely wrong, she says. Plus, you have a little boost from somewhere else.
So, are you okay going to Bridgewalk?
Hey, it's like the least crazy thing we've done on this journey so far.
When you put it in that perspective.
I mean, I'm not fighting Pitt, so all of this for me is a nice break from the ship. She gives you a sly smile. Plus, I think the crew wants to buy some things with their ill-gotten gains.
Well, Bridgewalk is an excellent place to do that.
I also want to do a little bit of weight calculation to see if we can afford another cannon.
All of his stuff on the board right now.
We could use another one.
By the way, is he going to keep bringing back giant metal monstrosities from all of your adventures?
I don't want to.
You know, honestly, they get more annoying each time.
This one has a big old horn on its face.
One of them talks. Like a
God.
creepy...
But she says, by the heavens, we're all going to die. At least it doesn't look like a cleavy or something.
Oh,
Oh, you can't, steal our words, can it?
what?
I don't know, can you have it mimic us?
I hope not.
It would be horrible for practical jokes.
I'm not sure that he's the joking type.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Although...
Now I'm thinking of more nefarious schemes.
You know, I guess we could teach him to use it for practical joke purposes.
I do not want to do that. You seem to have taken a pretty good liking to him, though.
I wouldn't use the word like.
I kind of like him.
You?
It's like, he looks very intimidating, but he's almost kind of shy.
I think he doesn't know what to do in some social situations.
Which makes no sense. Wasn't he a noble?
Yes, but I'm pretty sure he solved all his problems by...
Throwing money at them?
Or...
Oh, do you think he killed all his enemies?
I think he had some people kill them. I didn't say it was him specifically.
No wonder you get along with him so well.
Oh, I don't ask other people to kill my enemies.
She goes,
Well, not usually.
I remember an explicit circumstance where you asked me.
That's a little different.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
He probably just asked Prongle. That's why he had to chop off his hand. It was covered in blood.
Oh my god. Dark conversation.
Are your ears burning? You sneezed earlier. Your ears burning.
So,
House of Queens.
I'm just waiting for my cold chill.
she leans forward. The newest member. He's an interesting one.
I think Johnny has already hit him on it.
Oh, I hope so, she says. She leans forward. He's an angel.
Wow, you're horrible at keeping secrets.
No.
Smiley is her best friend. She's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
tell
They're
her
all-
anything. Yeah.
Okay, not you. You're relatively good. But who would you tell?
Who would have told?
Other than Shadow.
Yeah.
She goes, an angel? quite the gathered consortium of weirdos on our ship now, don't we?
Well,
Yours.
doesn't it make you feel a little more confident about going to Bridgewalk?
Why? I don't know what angels can do. Can they do something?
I'm sure they can do something. They probably are no way to fight.
Preach? Can they preach at us about the error of our piratey ways?
I have a feeling he's not going to do that.
Why not? If he's a friend of Juniper's.
Well, maybe he will.
Hey, have I preached at you guys?
Just been a know-it-all.
Perfectly fine with that, but I'm not a preachy.
Well, considering how handsome he is, I think we're in trouble.
He is very handsome, isn't he? I'm
Look
pretty
tall
sure.
for me.
Is he, though?
Yes. Not for you, though.
Shut up. I'm pretty sure he might already be involved. And she gives a little, knowing nod.
Roland?
I appreciate her progressive.
I love it. Well, you are his paladin.
Hey.
She just, chokes.
No, not Roland.
No, I don't think so, she says. I think maybe Juniper.
I literally didn't consider that.
Pay attention and let me know what you think.
Alright. Well, we best get up before everyone knows that we have scepters and crowns down here.
Find your arrows.
Damn, there are none down here, she says. I was hoping that she put one in the treasures. I guess she didn't.
It still gives me a little bit of joy thinking of how her feathers must be all fluffed up at us taking this from her.
Indeed. You feel the boat set off. Guess Dom got things underway for us. Let's get back up. With the ship setting off, we will go ahead and call it there for the time being, Noble Heroes. And remember, please give us a like and a subscribe, and do try this out.